Hello people, we are back here today with our photovoltaic DIY project on a trailer. In the last video we finished the battery storage system and now it's time to build the structure on the trailer. And our idea is that we will make this triangle shaped roof on the trailer. And for this we have some old beams here, which we upcycled from an old building. And yeah, in the next steps, we're going to show you how we cut those into the perfect size so we can build those triangles. And yeah, on here on the left and right sides, we will put the solar panels at the end, 6 on each side. And yeah, follow us for the next steps. Before we start, it's always good to talk about safety protection. And we need to protect our ears and our eyes. So a shield like this or some safety glasses are necessary to use when working with a miter saw or any mechanical tool is good. And gloves also can be handy with working with wood because splinters easily can get into your hands. This is our setup here. We have a miter saw, which is connected to a vacuum cleaner to suck in all the wood dust. And this miter saw is a great tool because we can place it on an angle to cut our beams. And here you see one of the triangles. We need to cut them in a certain angle. Here we used 60 degrees. And why is that? Because let's imagine this is the sun and here will be our solar panel, and we want the angle that the sun hits the solar panel to be 30 degrees. Of course, your trailer and your materials and all of that stuff can be different. So in our case, we have really thick beams, which we recycle from an old roof. But maybe you have smaller ones, which is perfectly fine. And also here you can see we are working on the floor because our beams are 6 meters long, which is not easy to handle. But it's good to have like a flat ground for the miter saw to work with, so it's stable. And yeah.
Next, we're gonna cut those beams into pieces. In our case, they need to be 1 meter 40 from the top here to the bottom down there. So first we cut it into one piece, and afterwards we will cut those angles that we need to get them here into a 60 degree at the top, and also to cut off the edges on the bottom so they stand flat on the ground. It might be a different measurement for your case, which is depending on your trailer. How wide it is, it might be a different measurement that you need. When you take the measurements for your beams, keep in mind that the blade of the saw always cuts off a bit of your beam. So in our case, it's like 2 to 3 millimeters. Might be different for your saw that you're using. So it might come in handy not to measure 7 at a time because you lose a few millimeters. So make it 1 at a time and cut them one by one. And now we're gonna turn the angle of the saw. In our case, you have a little lever down here that you need to pull, and then you can see on the saw here at what angle you're at the moment. We're going to turn it to 30 degrees, like this. Whoops.
And here we have our 140 centimeter pieces, and we're gonna cut them now in a 30-degree angle. When we cut it here, we have the 30-degree here and the 60-degree angle here, which we need for the triangles.
Following the measurements on our technical drawing, I'm gonna measure at 6 centimeters from here, and then the blade will cut at a certain angle. In our case, it's gonna be 60 degrees. So I'm gonna turn this one here to 60 degrees. And in result of that, this triangle here is gonna fall off, and then we have a flat surface here. So our later triangles will be flat on the ground. Another thing to add, if you also use recycled or reused beams as we do, make sure that you don't have any nails or pins or whatever in the wood, because if the blade hits one of those, they can go blunt pretty quickly, and we want to avoid that. Now that we've finished to cut the beams into pieces, we will now have to attach them one to another. One option which we are going to use is these huge ass tools that we're going to put in here. Those are 16 centimeters long and also pretty thick. I think they are 6 millimeters. If you don't have such big screws, you can also use these perforated plates. They have holes in them, and then you can put them like this and put a few more smaller screws if you have into the holes. We decided to go with these ones instead, and we're going to use this very powerful drill without a cord. If you don't have a very powerful screwdriver like we have, maybe a power drill is the better option. To hold the beams into places, we have these two clamps. They also come sometimes with another mechanism where you need to screw them on. These ones are a bit easier to use. We only have a huge one as well that can be used with screwing the sides on, but these ones work perfectly fine as well.
Now with these screws, you can put them on top first to see, aha, this is a good position, just screw them in. And then we want to aim for the middle.
In order to protect the rough sawn beams from weathering, we apply a coat of paint. In our case it's grey, but you can obviously pick whichever color you like.
We finished now coating the triangles, the the first layer. This will dry now, and then we need to flip it to paint it from the other side. And Max and me, we are working on the extension of our trailer, because to stack 6 modules next to each other, this trailer is not long enough. So we need to make it 1 meter and 29 centimeters longer. For this, we have these 8 by 9. This one is 8 by 9 beams, and we have an 8 by 8 beam down there. And to attach it to the trailer, we drilled 2 holes here and there in the metal frame of the trailer. So we can take one of those long screws, this one, put it down here, and with a bolt we can secure it to the trailer. And now we're going to show you how we drill the holes first in the beams. So Markus has the power drill ready. And here it's important that we want to drill it like as straight as possible. We don't want to drill like this, we don't want to drill. And it's really hard for him to see. So I will make sure that it's as straight as possible, because it's better to see it from the other side. And now I secure the beam and he can drill. And with this hole, we didn't choose the middle because the hole in the trailer is a bit further out. So we shifted this hole 1 centimeter to the left. And here, this one is in the middle. So the plank itself is parallel to the outside of the trailer. We needed to extend the length of our trailer with these 8 by 8 beams. And the final triangle that we're going to screw on top of here, we need an extra beam at the bottom to make it more stable. And we used another one of these recycled beams, and we cut it first here at the measurement we're going to show digitally to you. And then we cut it the same angle as we did the triangle, so 60 degrees here. We will now gonna paint it as well, and then screw it in here to secure it. Now we attach the bottom beam of the front triangles to our triangle. For this we have 1600 millimeter screws, and they are 6 millimeters in width. And we will screw 2 of them from the bottom in here. Here it's important to not go like in this angle or this angle, because otherwise you will not hit the other beam on the other side. And here, this screw is not that long, so what I will do, I will screw it a bit further into the wood, so it will end like this. Move it a bit, yeah. Now we have our triangles, and we will attach them to the trailer. And we tried it out. This is our prototype. It's quite stable, and now we're going to show you how we did it. With our trailer, this is specific. We have these wooden beams, and they are attached with this bolt and nut. Here it's special, or it's good to know that this bolt is 8 millimeters in width. But our screws that we're going to use are 10 millimeters in width. So we need to prepare the hole to make it a bit bigger that our screw fits. And this is a metal drill, because here you see it has a metal frame, the trailer, and the wooden beam sits on this steel frame. So the bottom part we needed to drill through from metal. Here you can see also the little metal sparks. And now the hole is big enough to fit our screws in here. And the next step is that we take our triangle, put it on here, and measure that we have the screw in the middle. This is the second step of the preparation. We prepared the hole and we have our screw in here, and we need to take care of two things. Firstly, we want to aim to hit the beam in the middle, and also the triangle over the trailer should be in the middle. So the distance from this corner to the edge of the triangle on this side must be the same as on the other side. Here the beam is 6 centimeters wide, so the middle is 3 centimeters, and I measured that here the middle of the hole is also 3 centimeters, so I can take this line as a reference. I'm gonna pull out the screw for a second, and then I can place the beam on top here in line with this line. And now I take a hammer and give it a little knock so I know we turn it down now. So now we have a reference point on the bottom side, and in the next step we take a drill to pre-in in the wood. This is important because our screw is 10 millimeters wide, meaning if we just try to drill it in like this, it could split the wood. So it's better to pre-drill here a hole, which I do now. And of course, this step we're gonna repeat on the other side, and then we continue. Now everything is prepared to attach the triangle to the trailer. And we put the screw in here that we can lift it and place it on the hole that we pre-drilled. And I take a power drill and the long screw. Here's important now that I switch the tools now to this one to tighten the last bit, because with a power drill it has so much power that you can even like hurt your wrists. So for safety reasons, and that's it. As you see, we managed to put all the 3 triangles on the trailer, and now we are at the front parts. They are a bit different. We needed to make our trailer a bit longer for all the solar panels to fit. So we have these 2 beams, which are the extension beams, and we need to attach the front triangle to the beams. I measured here, it's like 7.8 times 7.8. And on top, we marked earlier where the beams will be. And we made a hole in the middle as well. And we use also these big screws to attach them from the front here into the beam. We prepared the holes from the front. Now I hammer in the screws. And Mary and Marcos will hold it. In the later steps, we will build a platform here to put the battery storage system in here. So this platform needs to be stable. To strengthen it, we will attach another of these poles in the middle. And for this, we screw a hole here as well. Marcus?
Yeah.
as before, we need to pre-drill also in the second part of the beam. And here we choose a smaller diameter, 6.5 millimeters. And here we chose 10. So we can here like stick the screw fully through it, because the screw only needs to be like fixedly attached in the second part of the beam. To protect our battery storage system from the weather, from water, we decided to build this little house. Basically, we had some OSB wood sheets left over, so we built the floor, some side walls, and some like roof structure. And in the next steps, we're gonna put a few more of these OSB plates on top of here, and we designed it to build the walls like this, so it perfectly matches with our triangle structure, because afterwards we will like flame some protective layer over here, so it's fully waterproof. This design will be up to whichever trailer you choose, but the main goal for this one was to protect our battery storage system from water. For our roof, we have these welding tracks, or it's basically asphalt in like a roll. They are 1 meter wide, and you take a flamethrower and then you heat it here for a certain amount, and then the asphalt gets like gluey, and then I'm gonna roll it down and press it, and then we need to flame it again. We finished our hut with the asphalt sheets. We burnt them on here. So our little house for the battery storage system is done. Now we are in the process of putting the aluminum tracks for the solar panels on here. And we bought those. They are 2 meters long. And for our system, we need 2, because we're gonna place the panels on top of here. And usually these tracks are used for roofs. So under here there will be a hook, so it's hooked to the roof. For our case, we will screw them onto our wooden triangles. And this is a bit specific because we have this metal aluminum track here, which we need to drill a hole in here for our screws. So we need to also drill away this middle part, which is a bit tricky, but we're going to show you how we do it. And then it's pretty straightforward. 2 holes on that side, 2 holes at the end. Then we choose here 3 centimeters from the edge of the triangle. And then we also cut 2 of these wooden distance blocks. So we always make sure that these 2 aluminum tracks are parallel. We have this standing power drill here, and now it's the tricky part to drill in the middle. And how we do it is we're gonna push the aluminum track just a little against the drill, so millimeter by millimeter we get also the middle part. To attach the aluminum tracks together, as they are only 2 meters long, we have these adapters, and they go under here in the middle, and they have special screws. They go inside here, and when you tighten them, they turn to the right, and then they attach to the bottom part. So we put like a screw through here, then we put the bar inside. I take the nut and tighten it from the bottom, and then tighten it to secure it properly. We take one of those, this one, that's it. Fast forward 2 days later, you can see we mounted all the aluminum tracks on both sides, and we also already attached 2 solar panels to test out for you how it's done, and now we're going to show you. This is a close-up shot of the tools we need to mount the solar panels on the aluminum tracks. We have this specialized kind of a counter nut which can go sideways here inside the tracks. Then we use the mounters which attach like this, and the screw goes in the middle. And here the next solar panel will attach, and then we tighten it fully. Here it's important that we can already attach the 2 cables of the solar panels together, so we don't need to crawl under it. Now we push the module. This is a bit too tight. Exit. And now we tighten the mounts. And it's also good to mention that this trailer is not fully in a 90-degree angle. So we just mount the solar panels on here. So it looks kind of good. They will not be all perfectly in line. But that's the thing when you do it like upcycling style. We use materials which has been used in a different way. But it does the job. Here we are for the final step of our photovoltaic trailer, and I'm going to explain to you how it's all connected and attached. We have 3 solar panels here connected in series, and these 3 are connected parallel to the other 3 on this side. This is east facing and the other side is west facing, and the cables are all connected under here, which you can't really see, but they all come together into here, our main connection box. Here we are inside of our management box with all the devices and cable management. The cables from one side come in here, and they are connected to the charge controller. As you remembered, we have 3 solar panels in series, so this adds up the voltage. Each panel has 40 volts, so we have max voltage of 120 volts. This first number of this charge controller mentions the maximum voltage this can take. This is very important not to over exceed this number, otherwise this device will get damaged. We have 2 of them on each side because we have 2 sides of our photovoltaic trailer. We intentionally choose here black and black, which is not common. Usually the positive side is red and the negative black. But this was for us to connect just one side, all black cables, and then the other side of the trailer in red cables. They are connected to the bus bars in the middle. So from both charge controllers, the negative comes in here and the positive comes down here. From this, it goes to a pre-charging unit. This one is important because we have a battery storage system on the left side, and down here we have the inverter. And we need to pre-charge on this side first. This is a resistor, and then we open the other side, and after then the current the current is flowing, we close this again so this one is not overheating. This is important because our battery storage system could, when we turn this on, put too much current into our inverter and kind of damage this one as well. And then in the middle here we have a communication module. This is for us to collect data. This works via Wi-Fi, and we also are connected with an app. And this one tells us how much are we storing in the battery system, how much are we using ourselves from the electricity, how much do we eventually save at the end of the year. And also, this is very important, it gives notifications that if any error occurs, that we can come here and check it. So we don't need to manually go here. And this is connected here with the blue cable with the battery storage. And here you can see the positive connection from the bus bar to the battery storage system, and the negative. And this is our little setup in here. We are now under our photovoltaic trailer, and here you can see the microinverter. Those two are the cables coming from our battery storage system and the solar panels from the bus bar. And this one converts the 48 rated voltage of the direct current from our system to the 230 volt current of our home grid. And we on purpose placed this inverter down here because when this is working, it produces a lot of heat, and it will heat up all of our box there where we have the management system and the devices. And here's a lot of airflow, so it can cool down naturally from all sides. Here the black cable is the cable which is connected to our home grid. That's it for us. This was our tutorial of how we built this photovoltaic trailer with a group of young people. And I want to mention that this project was funded by the European Solidarity Corps. It's a solidarity project which is a group of young people coming together, wanting to do something for the local community, but also connecting to the goal of Europe to be more sustainable. And by building this, we can produce our own electricity. We can do the small step which we want to empower, like small communities to do their own thing, to build a photovoltaic system themselves. It's not that hard. You can use like old materials to upcycle. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. And we wish you a happy and sunny good day.